I'm not ready yet, Venza. You raided me. I thought I better start, but the noise freaked the bleep out of me. It was like really, really loud. So I'm just turning my volume down. I didn't realize how loud I had it. I was playing some music and I was listening to it in the other room, so I had it really loud. But when you raided me, it went bling, really loud. So give me 2 secs, and I will be almost ready. So, how's everyone's week been? How's everyone's day? I saw some of you yesterday, so I hope your day's gone well and the week's gone well. It's the weekend, so you know what that means. Open source coding this weekend, and we are going to be doing a lot of open source coding this weekend, especially on Saturday. I'm really keen to spend most of the day tomorrow doing some open source coding, and I would really want to finish off the story we started yesterday. So I will be on at 10 o'clock tomorrow for sure, and at 2 o'clock in the afternoon UK time, and I really hope to do a lot more in between that, so that we'll see how we get on. And today, again, Venza, thank you for the raid. That's awesome. I was just getting my IDE booted up and to just be ready for you all. Disaster. Yeah. Oh no. I should have been, I agreed with 5:30 with Ventura, not 5:15. But no, it's good. Start early, we can get a bit more coding done before my wife comes home. So that'd be great. Right, so my IDE, let me open it and let me bring it over to this screen. I'm thinking of getting the Elgato, which is like a kind of like a, I don't know if you're aware of it. It's like a little mini keyboard, as it were. And what it does is it allows you to just, it's got I think 15 keys on it, and it allows you to just switch between screens and between windows, and you can program it, and it's really good. And also the awesome thing is the keys themselves are LCD like screens, and so it's you can put icons on it and stuff, which I'll probably waste like so much time doing. So that's maybe like not a good thing, but it will save me looking at this screen and clicking around, and you kind of see the side of my face. Maybe I can just kind of have it here and have my hand, trying to remember which key is which, kind of in the corner of my eye, kind of, press it away. Right, okay, where we got to yesterday. I don't know if anyone can notice my screen, my desk setup is ever so slightly different. I now have a big light over there as well, and so hopefully that's not kind of blurring my kind of back screen too much. Right, let's get down to some code. That's why we're all here, right? Okay, let me share my screen again. See, if I had this button, I could just press it. So in theory, if I press this, should switch to my screen. So I'm hoping you can all see my screen, and if that's working, that's good. I'm trying to use also with the software that I'm using to stream, OBS. I'm trying to customize it a bit more. So I was just using studio mode where I can set up my screen beforehand and transition over. So hopefully that transitioned over okay. So where we got to yesterday, we did have one issue at the end that I did fix. I keep looking to my left just to check the chat. I did have OBS has shortcuts, it does, but I still have to kind of look over and kind of go to OBS and behind the chat and do it. And I thought if I can, it's about £150, which is I thought quite a bit of money. So I'm gonna sit tight for a little bit. I did buy the new kind of light in front of me and the blue light behind, and I really want to get a digital SLR. Then you can really see my beard a lot better. So I'd like to get streaming with digital SLR, but you're talking like big bucks for that. So we will see how we get on. Right, back to some coding. So yesterday I did have a config issue, and it made it a bit harder because I didn't want to share some of the keys by mistake on stream, as I have done in the past. And I've sorted that out. All that was I didn't put in the database into the config. And let me show you. If I bring this over here, I didn't have this ready either. So this is what we were doing yesterday. Let me minimize that, get it out of the way. So we were creating, for DashboardHub, we were going to create a way that we could create a project and add the environments that we've already pre-created into that. And we can do some nice stuff in Angular 5 where we can maybe have, if you want to add a new environment there and then under the projects, we could maybe do a dialogue or something like that. So we will get to that once we've got the CRUD part working on the API. We're using Node and serverless on AWS Lambda. Once you've got that working, then on the UI we can kind of customize it and tweak it however we want. So Vendra drew a bit of a dashboard as an example of something we could work to. We're not there yet though. We're still on the APIs part. So let me show you what I had. So I actually we wrote some tests yesterday, all of us together. Let me just move this over here so you can see the terminal. I think you can see the terminal, right? Yeah. Oh no, you can't see the terminal. I made a big boo-boo. I didn't adjust the resolution on my screen. That's probably really small. Why didn't anyone tell me? Because you're not all watching, are you? You're kind of like doing the dishes or cutting the grass while watching. It's fine. That's okay. I do stuff like that all the time. Give me 2 seconds. I do need to adjust my resolution because it's running at 5K at the moment. That must be tiny. So I'm going to try and do this live. As you can see, it's come up on my screen. I really hope it doesn't break. Apologies if it does, and if it does, I'll be back, a couple of minutes later. But I think it's fine, right? This is a Mac. It's an Apple Mac, iMac Pro. It's going to work. It can handle it. I haven't restarted it for like 3 weeks, so. Anyway, okay, let's give it a go. Boom. Are we all still there? My screen's a bit black. Kind of working. We're too busy looking at your beard. Thanks. Can read it fine, but then I have a big screen, I guess. Oh, that's true. How is it now? Does that look a bit better? Hopefully I haven't completely ballsed up the stream. I mean, I need to be polite. I haven't ruined the stream. Right. Let's see. If I can get the thumbs up and see how that's going, that would be awesome. We good? I think we're good. A little better. Okay, a little better. I've gone from like 4K probably to like 2K. 5K to like 2K. It should be a lot bigger. But I suppose maybe not necessarily better. Bigger is not necessarily better. If I turn fully screen, it's really good. Like full screen, it's really good. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I probably need to adjust some of my windows. Oh, so unprepared. So let me move this over to the right. That looks better. That looks half and half. And this over here. Okay, that doesn't look quite so good. Run out of a bit of a real estate. Let me move this over. Right. Okay. Now we can see, see some code, see some tests, and see the terminal. Right. What we're going to do. So what we did yesterday is we added a new table. We called it projects. We added also some dummy data for the test to run. We're doing this TDD. So we will run the tests and they should fail, and then we'll make them pass one by one. And we added the model, but again, nothing's wired up to it, so ignore the model. The model doesn't do very much now. I was doing it more for trying to think about the fields and all the rest. So we wrote one test yesterday, which was the project list private. So this is just a description. I can probably improve that for my test, and we'll work on that. Or if anyone wants to send me a PR, please feel free. Even if it's just a space or a typo, it's a good way to get into projects. The path is here at the top. So under pipeline dashboard on the DashboardHub organization, you will have API, then tests, then features, and then projects, and it's list private feature or list public. They both, actually all of my .feature files probably need some improvements in the English side. So what we're doing is, so this bit here is just a description. Then we run in the seed data for each file. And then this is our first test. So the scenario title here is just a description, it doesn't actually drive the test. Whereas this actually drives the test. So we've got some messages. What's the thing on the right? Hey turnip juice. It's a good name. What's the thing on the right? What thing on the right? Is it the terminal, the one with the red and the green and the black writing? The black background, red and green writing. That's my test. The result of running the test. I'll get onto that in a second if that's what you mean. So this is the actual test on the left, and we say when I make a GET request, because we're testing the API with Cucumber, when I make a GET request to this endpoint, we're expecting a 403 because we're not logged in. I haven't said given I'm logged in, as you'll see in the next test. So in the next test, we want it to be can view my projects if logged in. This won't work because we haven't done the code for it yet. We haven't done the API endpoint for it yet. But we will. We're still writing it as if we plan it to work. So write the test first, and then so we've got the negative test here, and we've got the positive test here. And it's given I am logged in. That will actually go get a JWT from auth0 and attempt to log in. And then it make a GET request for the same endpoint, but I'm expecting a 200 now. And I'm expecting a total of 1. Actually, I think we put 2. Let's have a look at our test data. That's a different user. So no, we're expecting 1. And it should have it be an array in list. And in row 1, we're expecting this. So if I clear this on the right, let me just check. Okay, bear with me 1 second. I need to set up the environment variables because again, I don't want to see you to see my keys. So I'm going to grab this terminal over here, and actually, you know what? I don't even need to move it over there. I can like show off my screens. Let me put my screens back on for you so you can appreciate the Apple photo I have on the big screen. So if I transition this over, hopefully that works. You can see my lovely DashboardHub hoodie on the back, and what have I got on the sleeve? On the sleeve as well. Very proud of that. And who can guess what who my cap is? Venzra, don't say anything. I know you were here last time. I think Mauritius, you were here last time as well when I did the test on the cap. So someone knew what cap am I wearing? Can you recognize it? And while you're thinking about that, I'm just going to quickly do these environment variables, and hopefully you can't see my screen. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to do a history, and I'm just going to have a look at them. So if I do history and I grep with what should we grep with? Let's grep with grep. I know I did grep before. It was with the export actually. Right. So if we grep the export command, and I can find out what we've done. And again, I'm hiding this from you purposely. Hopefully you can't read it here on the right. Just have a look at the nice picture above and the chat and stuff while I'm not showing my keys. There's a problem with the hat. The creators stole the primary color of DashboardHub. I like it. You're right. The creators of the cap, which we won't say, stole the DashboardHub colors. There was no intention to actually steal to have the same colors, and that's really bad. I think it's slightly different orange for DashboardHub, but I'll need to double check that. Looks like the orange from Curse, but that's as close as I'm going to come. Curse? Is that a band? A technical tool? I'm not sure. You have to Turnip Juice. You have to elaborate a little bit on that, and then I'll tell you what who the cap actually is. You'll probably recognize it once I say. Okay, so I'm just gonna do these export commands. Like I said, I don't want to share it on screen. I don't want you to see all my private keys. Okay, that's 1 done. I think I've only got 3 to do. So 1 done, and now that's 2 done. Okay, almost there. I think that is 3 done. Okay. They may distribute game add-ons. Oh, I see. Curse. Okay, fair enough. Okay, and I recognize Steam. Okay, I recognize that name. My chat being all the way over here isn't so great, I guess, and I keep turning away. But hopefully the sound is good. I tweaked my mic a bit to, rather than just have directional sound, have sound from all the way around. Hopefully you don't get any echo or anything like that. So it's not Curse. You're probably close, I guess. I don't know what the Curse logo looks like, but it's actually Ubuntu. So Linux Ubuntu, one of my favorite distros, and yeah, that's one of the caps I have with Ubuntu on it. I have one that isn't so bright, but I do like the bright one. Although it's losing its fade a bit. So, team voice chat. Ah, okay, I see. Okay, cool. Right, okay, let me switch to my other screen. Let me switch back. Let me see if I can get this right. Okay. Right, so I'm just running the test just to make sure that the keys are working, but I'm going to stop that because I don't want to run everything. So what we do want to run is we want to run our particular one. So we've got project list private. These are the tags you can filter your test by. And we've got project list public. I can run both, but just by running project list. And to be honest, I can't actually remember what I did the environment variable to be. Let me check. It will be in the make command, I'm pretty sure. And it will be under the test section. again, I'm fairly sure, under the API section. Where do we have test? Here we go. So test tags, right, okay, so we'll use that. So we'll go test tags equal at project list, because we want to run both of those. Again, they both will fail, but we'll make them pass, don't worry. Not by changing the test, by changing the code. And then we'll say make, and we'll run the test. So we run that. So now it's dropping the tables if they existed, running migrations, and it is NoSQL. So it's not migrations in terms of the SQL solution. And then it's going to inject the data and run the tests. You can see 2 have failed. I'm expecting them pretty much all to fail, because even though we try and access project list and we're not logging in and would get a 403 back, we actually get a 404. So let's have a look. So we ran 6 scenario and 4 failed. Okay, so 2 passed. I'm quite surprised about that. So if we go to the top, what we have here is the project list private, which is the one I took you through on the left. And we're expecting a 403, but we got a 404. And I'm sharing my file. Hey Dev Journey, thanks for joining. Good afternoon to you as well. I hope you had a good day. We're just continuing from where we got to yesterday. So yesterday we had the tests failing, but with an error rather than a failing test. So I fixed that config, and now we're actually doing the more interesting part, the exciting part. So we expected a 403, but we got a 404 because there's no URL endpoint. I haven't done any of this code to create that, and hopefully I can remember how to do that in serverless. It feels like so long. And same with this one, we're expecting a 200, but got a 404, the endpoint doesn't exist. And with the public test, same again, same again, same again, right? Okay. So what we'll do, let's create the endpoint. Let's remove that 404. Let's get it kind of working. So what we need to do is in the API directory in the project, we will go to serverless, YAML. Don't worry, I have no private keys in here. They all move to config. And if I just, make that a bit wider, a bit easier to see. And the URLs are quite near the top. So if we go all the way to the top and scroll down, here we go, functions. So these are the functions, JavaScript functions we're running on AWS Lambda using the serverless framework. And we can see I've got an auth one here. And the auth doesn't have an endpoint, you can't reach to it directly. It's just a precursor to all the private endpoints. So this one is a public environment list, so it doesn't use auth. Public environment list, and here's a private one, so environment list. And it has, on the HTTP endpoint, it does have authorizer auth, which links to up here. So let's go add one to the right, we'll go right to the bottom, we'll add one. And we will do let's do the public one first maybe. So with the public one, let's just cheat and copy and paste. Copy and paste development, right? So I did, thank you, starting to have a look at Golang today. Nice. Serverless supports Golang. I think it's the first compiled language to be supported on AWS Lambda. So it's and I think you can use a serverless framework for that as well. So you use the same config as this, but then you can deploy a piece of a function, yeah, you can deploy a function and use it on events with S3 or API endpoint really easily. So worth having a look at that, and it's free as well. You get like a million free usage per month, which is quite hard to hit. I think my DashboardHub got load tested with Venza, correct me if I'm wrong, it was about 1,000, I think, load tested, and I didn't even come anywhere near to the million anyway. Question, is serverless pretty much like Docker, it seems? No, yes and no, it's more smaller. So if you've got, at one end, you kind of got your bare metal server, and then you kind of go to VMs, and then you kind of get smaller than that, you go to containers, and then to get smaller than that, you go to serverless, which is actually you're deploying the functions, you're just deploying the code. So because with Docker, you still need to worry about the scaling, the memory resources, all that sorts of stuff. Whereas with serverless, you don't worry about any of that. It scales pretty good all by itself. But no, it's a good question, and that's my understanding of it. I'm pretty new to it, been using it a few months. My understanding is that it's the smallest. Obviously, the servers behind it. It's called serverless. Obviously, the servers behind it, but you're just deploying a function, and yeah, AWS take care of the rest. So that's pretty cool. Well, I was going to steal a public one. So let me find the public one. And you can see even on serverless you can do scheduler. So this one hasn't got an endpoint, but every 30 minutes I want it to run this function, and the function calls those other functions. That's for my monitoring. Let's go back up to the top. Let me just skim right up to the top again. I'm just going to steal a public one. Public environment list. Now I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. At the end of this, I always get my what do you call it? The indentation wrong on YAML. So public environment list, we're going to say public project list. So public project list. And we're going to say the handler is, do we put it in? We haven't done it, created a file yet, so we should actually create one. And I was putting it under environments, but I don't know, in the test I put it outside environments because projects just seems a sibling to environment. So I want to do the same. Let's do the same. So let's create a directory and we'll just call it projects. So that's a sibling to auth environments and models. And then in there we will create one called list.js because we'll put the public and private list in there because it's only going to be a small amount of code. It'll just be two functions in one file. Add it to Git, yes please. So if we, now we've created the file, we can go back to the serverless. And I can now change this, so I can say projects, and we can say list.public. Oh, did I split it out somewhere else? Let me have a look. Oh no, because after the dot, I'm being really silly. It's been a long week. It's the function, so it's the file, then the function. So it is list, and it will be public. So that works out well. The path will be projects. It will be a get, and we'll use Lambda proxy. So Lambda has Lambda and has Lambda proxy. And Lambda proxy means you do configure more in the code, and Lambda means you configure more in the config. So if you look up here, it's actually using Lambda, but I've configured all these things here rather than in the code. I still don't know which one's better. I think in the code you have more control, so I'm kind of tempted to move to that, to be honest. I have a bit of a mixture. All my public ones are just Lambda proxy, and all my private ones are Lambda. I need to make them consistent because that's like bugs me. My OCD goes crazy. Well, considering I'm off for a week, I'm going to have a look into serverless and also Golang. If it pairs with serverless, like you said, it should be a good combination. Yeah, serverless is great for hosting because, like I said, it's free. Hackathons, you can just write a bit of code and then just run one command and it just deploys, and it just takes care of everything. Does the the function, it does the cloud formation on AWS to build it, restores it in S3, so you get to version your function, your code, and your deployed functions. It does all the API gateway to manage your endpoints. And it just works out of the box. It's really, really simple. So it's quite nice. Definitely have a look at that. I don't know Golang, but I do know that has been added to serverless. Okay, so we've got this. So we've got this endpoint. And I want to cheat, and I want to actually copy this file. This is the environment list. This will be the public and the private. I'm going to cheat and just copy that. Don't tell anyone I did that though. It'll be our secret. Because copy and paste development is very good, but as we're all pairing on this, you can tell me if I've got anything wrong. So I'm including Lodash. I can't remember why, but we'll leave it in for the moment. I want to include models, but I don't want environment. I want project. Why has that got an S? Am I not being consistent? Why did no one spot this yesterday? You're all fired. I'm just joking. I'm the one that should be fired. I'm the one that's driving. Where are my models? Oh yes, environment and project singular. So let me rename that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we've renamed that. That should be good. And what we're saying also, that's project singular and helper progress. No, we don't need that. It's just like a little helper function that I wrote. And in terms of attributes, because on environments for the public and private, they needed different ones. So the public had less than the private ones. For example, tokens and keys and stuff like that. So with project, what information do we have? I think it's pretty much all public. So I think it'll be the same. So what we can do is we'll have ID, we'll have owner. What else do we have? Title. That's good. Title, description, and environment. So let's change releases to be description. I can't spell. Let me bring my mouse over here actually so I can kind of face this way. Description and environment. And then we can just ditch all the rest out. As it's quite short, we might be able to sneak them onto one line maybe as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's not that many there. There we go. It looks a bit cleaner. Okay, and here we're doing environment scan. So we don't want to scan environment. We actually want to scan project. So actually, I'm just going to copy and paste it. There we go. We're going to scan it. We're scanning for is private. We don't actually need to do that. We removed the private flag yesterday. So what we could do, let me think. We don't need to filter by any of them. I don't think. We didn't keep the is private. But now I'm kind of debating: should I put it back? Should I not? I mean, would an environment always be public? No, I don't think so. It wouldn't. I'm tempted to put it back now. That means I have to add it to here. It's really easy, it's fine. We can even steal it from another model. So we go to the environment, we can just go is private, steal that. That's fine, thank you very much. Add it in, required to default false. So we've got that, that's fine. And also what we'll need to do is in the test data, we'll just need to add that in as well. Although it defaults to false, but still I like to put it in to be explicit. Let's put it in here. So is private, and just put those to false. False. Okay, and we'll copy that. We probably should have we probably some tests to test that it doesn't come through actually on the public. So actually what we should do is, we'll do that afterwards. But we'll probably need one more that is private. You know what, I'm just going to create it now. Let's just do it now. We're already here, so we're going to call it project number 2, and we'll call it title 2, and we'll rename this one to title 3, and description 2, and this one needs to be JetBrains has an IDE for Go. Nice. JetBrains do some awesome IDEs. I don't know why I'm using my terminal on the right here. I should be using the terminal in here. Yeah, JetBrains does some pretty cool stuff. Hopefully when we get enough people watching, I can go to JetBrains and I can say, hey, I've got so many people watching, I want to give away free licenses for their ultimate package, and therefore you can use all their IDEs and all the languages. Yeah, that's the goal, do giveaways and stuff like that. I will be doing giveaways of stickers. People who weren't on yesterday, you can join our Discord channel below where we can chat between streams. And I do have some stickers coming. Do you want to see them? Do you want to see the Discord stickers? And it's got like the Twitch coders community that I'm trying to build on it on Twitch, I guess. Has a link to that as well, so I'm really quite excited about that. It arrives on Wednesday. I've only ordered some samples to see if I got the size right. What was I doing? So this one is private. We want to put true. And we'll just put the same environments in it, but we shouldn't get this back as a result. So now if I go back to list, we should say is private equals false, and we want all these attributes, which is practically all of them. Have they been? No, they haven't been delivered now. No, not Wednesday. Wednesday is when they come out. Did you see them yesterday? I can log in to I think it's Sticker Mule. I forget. And I'm really proud of these. I love my stickers. You see, I should get my laptop out and you can kind of, see. So I've got my Twitch one that I'm, really excited about. It's going to be straight on my laptop, like bang, right in the middle. Sorry if I blew anyone's eardrums. And the one that I'll probably give out is quite exciting because I think it hasn't got my name on it. It's not specific to me. It's to our community, right? We're a community of Twitch coders. So that's the idea. Hopefully no one notices any spelling mistakes on that, but I have ordered samples. So yeah, it's hard to see the actual size and see if it's readable. So I ordered 10 samples, they arrive on Wednesday, and then if all looks good, and people want them to stick on their laptops or stick wherever they want, don't stick right in the middle of your screen. Just wash my microphone. Then I'll send them out to people. More than happy to post them around, build up our community. I want one. Okay, Dev Journey, I'll definitely send you one. You've been here from the beginning, and I appreciate your support. So I'll definitely send you one, and I'll stick those GitHub ones in there as well that we spoke about last time. Okay, let me minimize that for a second. Hey Vendra, I did, thank you. I did watch a bit of your stream earlier on my phone, but didn't really get to stay long, just whilst I was parking up waiting for my girlfriend. Watching on the phone must have been hard to kind of, you know, see the code though. I was watching it on the iPad, and yeah, to really kind of, it was quite small. I think, Vendra, are you running it at your stream at 4K? Or do you reduce the resolution a bit? I think you do reduce it in your OBS settings actually, whereas I try not to. I try to just stream the output of the screen. I've just realized I might have a bodged setting because I've reduced my screen size, the screen resolution, but OBS I left it the same. Okay, I'll have a look at that afterwards. I won't worry about it now. Let's get this working. I want to get some test screen. It's already 5:45, and it's 2K. Okay, so that's what I put mine down to, but I think I'm streaming at 3K or 4K, so I don't know how that works, but I need to sort that out. Okay, so we've got is private, attribute, if there's an error, otherwise return, no process, I just want to return the results. Cool, and that's what I use low-4 to order by updated descending. Okay, so if I save that, and the private one, let's do that as well, because it's pretty much a copy of this one, but this is just, yeah, I'll copy the attributes. And then we can get rid of this, makes the file a lot shorter. And if you look at this, I've got two functions, yeah, they're quite short. So again, we want to scan where the owner is equivalent to the principal ID is who I've logged in with my GitHub ID, because it's I'm using OAuth with auth0. And again, I want the same attribute at the moment. I suppose we can add a bit more on here. If it's private, I can also add the attribute is private, because we will be able to know if we want to know if ours is private or not, and if we want to change that. Whereas when you're looking at the public ones, you want is private to be false. Okay, what else? So we can get rid of the calculate all, and again order that way. So let's run these tests, and we should have an endpoint. Oh, I only created one endpoint. Let me create the other one. Again, the other one is private, so let me duplicate this one. Yeah, I'm going towards Lambda proxy now, actually. I think the more I think about it, because it's just less in the config, and in the code you can kind of customize the headers and all the rest. Okay, so the endpoint will be, the handler will be source projects like above list.private, so list file but the private function. I'm missing out on all the chat. What am I missing? Yeah, no problem. I think I didn't have chat open. Yeah, Vendra, you don't keep an eye on your chat. You're really bad. I'm probably bad in the other sense that I keep an eye on my chat too much, and probably should just, you know, get on with coding. Well, to be fair, you gave me a heart attack. I didn't realize you were coming through the Bluetooth in the car. I didn't realize, and just started to come through my speakers full blast. You must have a nice car to have the audio from the phone come out in the car. My the Bluetooth in my car, I get the calls, but I don't seem to get any of the audio. Like, you know, if you're driving and holding the iPad up and watching a movie, I'm joking, I don't do that. But okay, you've just sat up parking like you said. So I have an aux line, and I have to plug that into the iPad. That's pretty cool. Where did the sloths come from? Yeah, I don't know. It must be your configuration. You've got a Fiesta ST Ferrari. Nice Ferrari. Okay, cool. That's the new Ferrari model, I think. You guys have a good sound system though to do that. No, the most hip thing to be caught listening to. But you know, I think coding in Twitch is moving along. I've seen it move along a lot in the last few weeks since I started. People that I'm watching have grown in followers and so forth. So I think gamers massively dominate that market, but I think coders are coming back. So let me change this. So this is just the name, it's just for us, but it does need to be unique. So we will say it to be private project list. Let's call in this file and this function. And the endpoint, we want it to be projects / list. I can't spell projects. List. We do want it to have an authorizer this time. It is not a post, it is a get. We do want lambda. Response, we will just leave the normal response of 200, so we won't change any of that. And we do want cause. I think we put cause on everything. Yeah, we do, because ping list. We do have cores. Okay, and we do have those headers. Right, so I've saved that. What do you reckon? Well, a few tests passed. So in terms of our tests, I would have thought this one should now pass because we would get a 403 back. This one might fail, but specifically because of the data. And then this one, in the public view, we need to put some more tests in. We need to check that we don't get the private one. So we do need to do some checks on that. But yeah, this is given I'm not logged in, scenario, can view public. This is why we should be pair programming on this. I hope people are reading this. And if you spot the mistake, don't be shy. Do tell me. It says, so the scenario title reads, I wonder if anyone can get it now as I start kind of leading into it. Can view public projects if not logged in. And the first line I've written, again, this is why copying and pasting is really bad. Given I'm logged in, so I'm actually logging in. So the rest of the test would have been done as an authorized user. So let me delete that line, and it should still work because this is the public side. Okay, let's run this and see. Let's clear this, and let's have a look. I'll have a drink while we're waiting. It only takes a few minutes to run, so it's not too bad. That's not a good start. Duplicate keys. Okay, where do we have duplicate keys? It must be in the serverless config. And I have duplicate keys. Private project list. That only appears once. Private project list. That only appears once. What's a duplicate key? What did I change? I know. It's in the data, I bet. So we have, 1, 2, and we have another ID of 2, so we put that to 3. Rookie mistake. No one spotted that. I was just doing that to test all of you, and you didn't notice it. Feel bad. No, I'm joking, don't feel bad. It's my fault. Like I said, it's been a long week. Early night tonight, good night's sleep, and tomorrow we'll be able to do so much more coding and not make so many silly mistakes. So, okay, 403, we've got a 404 again. I wasn't expecting that. While that's running, let me check. I might have to restart the actual API because I've changed the serverless.yaml and it doesn't update with those changes. It will update with code changes, but not with that. So that's actually on my other screen because of the keys. I'm just starting that up now. Give me a second and I'll catch up on the chat. Pop Logic, thanks for joining. Why the blank screen? Blank screen? I hope it's not blank. Like completely blank? Why are they just the very small amount that only contact high level? I'm writing in the wrong place than where I was writing. Blank screen should see code. Okay, so that looks like it's up and running. Let me run those tests again and then let's have a look. Not that one. You can see my keys. No, I've done it again. It ran the history from my other command. I was too lazy to type it, and I should have done test. I've done it again. What's wrong with me? I have to recycle my keys after this stream. I need to come up with a better solution. Damn the history. Okay, right. Test shard, and it's still coming up. Go away. That's the command I wanted. Not the one with the keys. Okay, I have to think about that and see. Stop streaming. I'm coming to hack you in the next 15 minutes. No one saw it. No one saw it. I should do the Jedi mind trick. You did not see those keys. Yes. That was a disaster. I'm going to move it from the my keys when I recycle them after this call, after this stream. I'm going to move it to environment variables, not before the command. I'll do it in the shell before I start the stream, and then I can just use the command about it pre-pending. Live and you learn. I've made a mistake, 2 or 3 times now? I'm a bit of a slow learner. Okay, so we did have 4 failures before, I think. We've only got 3, so something has kind of worked. That's good. Well, it is envars, but I pre-penned the command with the envars that I want. I don't know if I can use the terminal for different envars for different commands. But yeah, not so great when you're streaming. Okay, so Pop Logics used to have a black screen. Try refreshing. I don't have a blank screen. Thanks, Dev Journey, for writing that. That's cool. So what do we have? Where is it? Start at the beginning. Right at the beginning. Here we go. Oh, keys came up again. Right. Okay. So the project here runs. Look, the first one passed. So it went to project lists when it wasn't logged in, and it did get a 403. So that's a thumbs up. We had how many failing tests before? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we've got 3. So we've made one pass. So this one passes, which is awesome. The next one fails. It said project list. This is the private one still. So given I'm logged in and I go to project list, which should be my projects, expected 3 to equal 1. So I said expecting 3 results, but expecting 1 result and it got 3. I was expecting it not to be 1, but not to be 3 either, because this one is not owned by me. So I think I've bodged something up. I'm expecting it to get these 2. I'm expecting that to be 2, not 3. So okay, I'll have to look at the code in a second. Let's see what else we've got. 4. Okay, interesting. This is the public one. So with the public one, I was expecting it not to be 1. I was expecting it to be the total. I was expecting it to be 3, not 4. So let's put that to be 3, and also that to be 3. Those 2 results should be the same. Okay, let's run it again and let's see. And if I press up this time, hopefully I get it right. At the last command I got right. Yes, no keys in that command. Okay, while I'm running that, I'll get back to the chat. Ubuntu hat, but using macOS. Grey Sal, thanks for joining. And you recognize the cap. Awesome, 10 points to you. Yes, I love my Ubuntu for my servers, but for my desktop, I do love Apple. I will let me show you while those tests are running. Let me show you my lovely setup. So iMac Pro in the middle, and the Apple LG 5K screen on the left, and the same on the right, and the 4K LG screen on top. And I've got my light to look a bit, help me with my showing off my goatee and my cap actually. I think the cap kind of reflects quite well. Microphone and then the camera behind me. So yeah, okay, let me switch back to the code. L, thanks for joining. Good to see you again. We were continuing from yesterday, and Grey Sal looks sick. Thank you. I do love my setup. It's taken me a long time. I even have, I don't know if you see my hoodie, but I kind of lean forward a bit. We kind of have my DashboardHub hoodie to match the open source DashboardHub project we're working on now. I need to get a DashboardHub cap, but I think, wearing a cap and a hoodie, that's a bit much, right? You kind of, it looked like DashboardHub threw up on me or something. So yeah, I need to find the balance. Maybe I'll wear the cap, the DashboardHub cap, which I haven't got yet, when I'm not wearing the DashboardHub hoodie maybe. Grey Sal, thanks for the follow, that's awesome. And now you get notified when I come online, and tomorrow I'm going to try and do a bit of binge streaming and coding. The wife is out, so hopefully, yeah, between about 10 and 4 tomorrow, I'm trying to do quite a bit. And we'll see how we get on. Right, what have we got here? So I ran the test again, and the numbers still look odd. So we do have that test passing. This one looks strange. I'm not expecting 3, I'm expecting 2. So we could always console log output the data to see if there is, we haven't got the post test creating any data yet. We're all doing the get. So I think the code is not working, and it's probably not filtering on the owner. So let's just have a look at the, at least the endpoint we know is working. But the code is running, but it's not there. So what we want to do is we're saying project scan, and we're saying is private false. This one is false. This one is, oh, it's true. So also it shouldn't find that one. So that's interesting. This one should be 2 then. Okay, because this is public test. So with the public test, we are expecting there to be only the 2 public ones from both users. Okay, so let's change that. And this might be the wrong one that comes first. I need to check the actual created date. I haven't actually even put a created date on there. let me sort that out. Let me see, I'm just going to steal it from somewhere else. The environment data has, here we go, environment. Let's just steal some of these. We don't copy and paste, but just don't tell anyone. So what we'll do is we'll just stick this at the end, and then what we'll do is also just stick it at the end here. Oops. And we'll just change the numbers. Don't tell anyone. It's likely not good. And done it again. There we go, and then we'll just increment that one as well. And it's only by a few milliseconds, but it'll be enough to order it. So when it gets ordered, if we're expecting the two public ones, which is this one and this one, we actually should get this one first. So it should be just number 3 is what we should get in, because it'll be in the list array row 1. So actually we're expecting number 3. We should get 2 results, so the total is correct, but we're expecting the third one to be first, not the fourth one, third one. And then if I'm logged in, we're expecting the same thing again. So actually I'm just going to cheat. I'm just going to copy that because we are expecting the same result. Just because I'm logged in, I am expecting the same results back, and we are expecting 2. Because one of those is private. On the private one, I do have 2. One of them is private, but I'm looking at projects.list, which is my one. And I'm going to check the configuration, make sure I got that right. So we are expecting my one, so I do expect 2 of mine. And in row 1, I should actually do it the other way around. In row 2, I would expect this one, because it will reorder it. This one has a newer, an updated. I'm ordering it by updated, so that will have a newer one. So what we'll do is we can duplicate that, and we can say, wait a second, changing the wrong one. Why did no one spot that? It's changing the private one, which should say, and in row 1, we're expecting that, and in row 2 we're expecting the number 2 one because it's newer. That's what I'm trying to say. And then in the second row, so it's going to be ordered descending by date order. So that's what we've got. Right, okay. Now I've confused myself. Hopefully someone can explain it to me a bit better. But that looks a bit better. I just want to check the configuration to see that, make sure we're going to the right place. So we've got public project list is going to list public, and let's just check the code. So it is going to list is the file, and it's going to public, and then the other one should be going to private. So they look okay, so I think they're going to the right place. That's configured correctly, and we can put some console logs in here. So under these tests, I do have some step definitions, so we can actually see it. Let's put it into here, into the total one. So this is a step definition behind it. If I just remove the files on the left, it might be easier to read. And it's validating that the field in the body. But you know what? We can just console log the body, and we can see it. So if we go console log body, and then we run it again, we should be able to hopefully see a lot more and figure out what's going on. Let's see what's happening. Chat's gone awfully quiet. Either I'm explaining this really well, which is obviously definitely not true because I've confused myself numerous times in the last 5 minutes. But while that's running, do ask any questions, or ask any questions anytime about my setup, about what we're coding. We've got some output now. I don't know if you can see that. We've got some JSON, so we can kind of see what the data is. Yeah, that's running. And the project is completely open source. So if you do want to check it out and have a look, we are in a branch at the moment. But this is the project, and I can paste that in the chat. So don't forget that contribution to open source is the best. It will help with your CV, find work and all the rest, and help you grow as a developer. It's really good, and you can contribute with as little as just starring the project. Hint, hint, hint. Start DashboardHub, but also as changing text, formatting improvement. I did say that my descriptions here kind of really suck, so by all means please improve them, and I'll gladly accept your pull request. If you need help creating a pull request, let me know. Also, if you see a bug or want to create you got an idea, want to create an issue, then just log an issue on DashboardHub pipeline dashboard, and if it's not something I want to do, I can close it, or if something I want to do later, I can move it down the priority list. I'm just going to turn off my big screen because all sorts of screensaver's come on, I've got all sorts of pictures coming up, so let me just turn that off. Okay. What's the system you're using for testing when I make a GET request thing? So I'm actually using Cucumber. So this is the Gherkin format, and behind it is Cucumber. So if I go in my, they've got it in all languages. I use this in Java and PHP, and this is in JavaScript. So if I go into my package.json, I just have Cucumber there, and it's and I've got the plugin Cucumber Pretty to make it easier to read and have the colors and so on. And all you have to do is create some set definitions, which is like a regex at the top. There is a newer way to do it without the regex. You can use kind of handlebar brackets, but the problem is the plugin for IntelliJ that allows you to have autocomplete. So if I did and should, oh, can't spell and should, it comes up with all of these. If I don't use the regex, the plugin doesn't pick these up, and these are really useful because if you make a mistake, so say for example, I don't know, didn't put the word with at the end, it would go grey and tell me that it doesn't work. So that's quite useful. So I've gone back to using the regex, and then this is actually what performs the actions if I log in and all the rest. So given I'm logged in, it makes where is it? Given I'm logged in, there's a login method, which is like a helper method I have, and then it gets JWT and appends it to the body of the request. So it's really good. So anybody can come, non-technical people can read the tests, understand the feature, and you know, to understand what's going on when other people are developing it, and non-techies can get involved, and even the BA. I've worked on projects where the BA kind of writes these and literally just copy and paste them in. You might have to tweak them slightly, but then you can just run it and they all fail, and then you can do what I'm doing now, which is make them pass one by one. So hopefully, Graysal, hopefully that answers your question, but do jump in and ask if any more that you have, or if I didn't explain that very well. We've got 3 failing still, but we've got some data now, so we can see what's going on. Right, so the first one, 403 passes, and then here we say, I can view my projects, and we were expecting 2, but it got 3. I know why. We have done something very, very silly. When I copied and pasted, if you realize I'm getting the information for the environment, it's got E rather than the P at the front on the ID. So this data is not being loaded. So I've copied and pasted somewhere like boo-boo proper. So it could be when it loads the data in, or it could be when it reads it out. So let me just check where it reads it out. So I did say project model. So it is reading it out of the correct model out of the table. So I think that's okay. So it must be somewhere else. Let me have a look. So here I've got projects, and down here I've got projects as well, the project table. So that looks all okay. So that's at the bottom. It's the AWS resource. Here it is the loading the data. That all looks good. Okay, what else have we got? Where else could I have messed this up? There is a config file. So this is just the name of the table. Again, that looks fine. Where else can we load it in? Let me see. If I go to the make file, I just remove this on the side. I do have projects. Oops, gets replaced with projects test. That's also fine. This is just me to update my config file so I can separate from production and test. So why is the data being loaded incorrectly? Or am I calling in the test? I am calling projects endpoint. So that is correct. There must be somewhere else. In my 2 functions that I've declared, I am using the right handler. It's calling the projects file, and the path is project list for this, and this one is just projects. So where have I've really pulled something up. It's quite embarrassing. Dan, Cucumber looks pretty cool. I'll try it out. Yeah, do give it a go. It is really, really nice. And as you add more step definitions, as the more technical people add step definitions, yeah, they can just see what's available and should or click, or you can even use it for the UI. So I'm using it to drive my API tests at the moment. You can also use it to drive Selenium. So you can say I click on, given I'm logged in, so it logs you in, and I click on the submit button or whatever it is. So it's just like reading English. It's really nice. And if you ever want to see the step definition, you can just click on it and it takes you straight to that step definition. But why have I completely paused this up? That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to that endpoint, so let's follow this through. Okay, so even after developing for years and years and years, I still make mistakes, but it's part of the fun, I guess, always learning. Right, so let's follow this through. So the test is driving, is a driving force, okay, and the test goes to, on both of these, to projects list. So it hits that endpoint. Right, we go to that endpoint, and then what we do is it comes to here, and we hit projects list, and then it goes to the function source projects list private. So let's follow that through. So it goes to source, and we close environment, projects list, and then it was private, I think we said, wasn't it? Yeah, private, and we scan the project table. The only other place it could be is this model. When I copied it from the other one, I didn't update the name of the model. It's reading from the wrong table. So although we're calling the right model, it's calling from the wrong one. Let me see. I bet I've done that. Let me see. I have. Can anyone spot it? Have a look. Let me move the sidebar. See if you can spot my mistake. We all make mistakes. It took me too long to find that one though, and I shouldn't have made that mistake. Anyone spot it? I'm just going to sit back and rest for a second. And show off my hoodie one more time. Swan Dev, thanks for joining. We're just fixing an issue. We're writing automated tests at the moment, doing proper TDD, and I've just found a bug, and I was just about to fix it, but I want to see if anyone else spotted it. Graysal, you can't post links on the Twitch chat, but you can if you join Discord below. It's just like Slack. It's what we use to chat between all of us between streams. It's just a community for Twitch coders. Everyone is welcome, and you can post links in there. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Spitfire with a J. I don't know how you pronounce that, so apologies. The YAML public HTTP path is only project. Is that correct? That is correct, because I have two endpoints, and I probably should combine them together in the near future. But I don't know. Historically, I've done them as separate. So the public endpoint is just paths. A point is just projects, which will be the API URL / projects. And then for the private one, it's the API URL. So in this case, localhost. Then / projects / list. You can tell it's been a long week. So I've got them separate, but really I know if the user's logged in or not, so I should be able to return the results accordingly. But just to keep it simple and consistent, consistency is important, I have kept them separate. So that is correct, that part. Let me go back to the culprit file to see if people can see it. Oh, not that file, that file. But Spitfire, good call. It's definitely worth checking. So I like that. Let me see. Well, Shrug Face gets banned. Is he banned? He's just got 5 seconds. Timeout, 5 seconds. It's not too bad. It's not bad. Grayscale's still there. He's still writing. I'm watching from South Korea. Really awesome. I'm going to be closer to you next weekend. I'm in Thailand next weekend for 2 weeks, and I'm going to try and stream from there. But we're on the island Phuket, and I don't know how the internet's going to be. I'll probably have to stream in. Like now, I'm streaming in whatever 2 or 3K. I have to stream in like 640 by 480 or something. I don't know. We'll give it a go. We'll try it. I'll give it a go. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna have 2 weeks off. I'm really hoping it works because I'm gonna be coding every morning. So I really hope to do like 1 or 2 hours streaming each morning, which also is a different time to I normally stream. It will probably be later in the evening for UK time. So it's in Thailand. If I stream at say 10 o'clock, they're 6 hours ahead than the UK. So it'll be 4 a.m. That will suck. No one's gonna be online at 4 a.m. Didn't post links, I did the shrug. Oh, okay, I don't know. I'm still learning the Twitch thing. I don't mind if you post links. Nightbot does. But, hey, no worries. No, I don't mind. It's cool. I think it treats a dot We think we found out the other day, if you do, I don't know, like say test.test, that's not a URL or a link, but it treats it as a link because a dot doesn't have a space after it. So I'm not sure about the /shrug thing. What else have we got? Grace Al, you're from Thailand. Nice, awesome. Whereabouts in Thailand? My wife's half Thai, half Portuguese. I will bring up her GitHub account because she's not a coder, but I use her account to commit some stuff. So here's her account on GitHub. So you can see she's half Thai and then half Portuguese, but she loves the UK. So we can't move to Thailand, we can't move to Portugal because she loves the UK. Kind of a bummer. But what was I saying? Yeah, so we're in Thailand. We got married in Thailand, and we're going for our anniversary back to Thailand, back to Phuket. So we're quite excited. Yeah. Oh, Bangkok, nice. Yeah, my wife's dad, who's from Thailand, is from Bangkok as well. Although he's lived in Portugal for the last 40 years. Okay. The shrug is a command from Twitch extension called BTT. You just post an ASCII image at the end of your message. Oh, I see. Okay. Can I try that? So if I write, so L, thanks for that. I'm learning so much about Twitch all the time. So if I say shrug, but then do I need the extension installed? Shrug. I can't even spell shrug. Unrecognized command shrug. I can do this though. So you could all get my GitHub account. So we've got a ban for the ASCII spam. Oh, we see. Okay, interesting. Okay, I know what the issue is, and I want to point it out. No one's got it just yet. So in here, I'm loading the config. I'm loading in the config of environments rather than projects. That's why it didn't work. So if I refresh this, if I rerun this, and I probably don't even need the output of the JSON anymore. It's gonna be correct, and when it fails, it's going to tell me what it fails, because before it was failing kind of in a weird way. Yes, you do. BTTV makes Twitch 100 times better. Okay, I will Google that later on. Swandev, thanks for the follow from South Korea. Oh no, it wasn't you. It was Graysal who was from that direction. So apologies. Oh no, you are watching from Korea. South Korea, and Graysal is from Thailand. Right, I've got it right this time. Okay, I'm just trying to do the camera and the chat. It's not working so well. I should just put the chat on the screen in front. It's so much easier. Okay, so we've got 3 failures. Let's have a look what we've got. 500. It's a bit harsh. 500 is a bit extreme. So why have we got a 500? Oh, let me get rid of that. We don't want to see that. We want to see the code. And then if I open this, let me see what it says. Let me see. Okay, what else have we got? What else could be the issue? 500, that means that something's properly broken. And I'm guessing it is... It's kind of 6:15. How's everyone doing? I'm getting hungry now. What time is it in South Korea? Is that kind of like Thailand time? I'm guessing Bangkok is 6 hours ahead. It's gone midnight in Bangkok, I think, about now. So South Korea, are you more west or more east? I don't know. My geography is so bad. My coding's really bad as well. What am I good at? No, the coding. We're going to improve. We're going to get it right. And I will look at BTTV makes Twitch 100 times better. Okay, let me just open up a tab so I don't forget it. BTTV Twitch. I can't even spell Twitch. Night Dev, better TTV. Okay, I'll have a look at that later on and see what it does. Is it like Nightbot? Notable chat tweaks. Okay, I'll have that later on. Let's go back to here. Right, let's find our problem. I'm happy to leave it tonight and we'll continue tomorrow, but with tests failing, but not failing over 500, because that's like a serious kind of... if it's failing, like, you know, we haven't completed some code, that's also fine. It's 2:20 a.m. It's Saturday already. Okay, so okay, you're already on the weekend. That's good, but 2:20 a.m. Seriously, that's late or really early. Okay, what is our issue? What have we got? What else can we do? So we've got a 500, and the 500 is. Let's try and narrow this down. So it definitely comes into the endpoint, and we were definitely getting data before because we had the environments data come through, but we want the projects data to come through. So what I'm guessing is there is something wrong with the data that's going into projects. So when we had a mixed ID, a duplicate ID, it did fail. So I'm guessing that data is going in correctly. What else could it be? Let me see. I think I know what it is. If I bring up the directory folder, I think it's the way DynamoDB handles its nested JSON. I think these need to be quoted. Let me just check. So where else have we got in environment? If I go into the test data, and if I look at the, yeah, here we go. If you look here, we have tokens is an array of objects, but it's quoted. And that's just really annoying, but that's an issue I have with DynamoDB. That's why I really want to move to serverless Aurora. So it goes back to a database, and then that way I don't have silly quirky things like this. So that's kind of like a bit annoying. I'm just going to do this now, but yeah, serverless Aurora. It works like DynamoDB in the terms you don't have to create a VM, and it automatically scales, does all that kind of awesome stuff. But yeah, I have a conference that I need to get ready for that DashboardHub is exhibiting in London called Startup Grind in June. So I cannot do too many drastic changes, architecture changes at the moment. Right, let's do that. And now the test should be a lot better. I think everyone got their fingers crossed. I got two. Cross everything. Seriously, we need to cross everything. It's probably like a British joke. I don't know if that joke kind of works over the pond or over in Far East. So let's see. SpawnHub TV. Hey Eddie. Hey, is that a bot or is that a person? SpawnHub TV. It kind of sounds like that BT TV thing. But it said hey Eddie, so I'm guessing you're a real person. So hey. Let me catch up on messages. It just loads a quality of life things, dark theme for Twitch that's easier on the eyes, proper emote list, and settings for the chat that makes it easier to read stuff. Okay, that's good to hear. I'll definitely take a look at that and see. I've got so many improvements to do to my Twitch channel, to Discord channel, which is called Twitch Coders. You're all welcome, even if you're getting into coding new. We're all chatting in there and working. So the empty array does not have to be quoted. Yes, it does. At least someone's paying attention. I know I wasn't paying attention. I was chatting while doing that. That's a very good point. So thank you very much. That does need to be quoted. So Spitfire, hopefully I pronounced that right because you've got a J instead of an I. That does need to be quoted. So yes, let's run that again and see now. Okay. I'm not a robot. Okay, that's good to hear. Just checking. Your name kind of, I wasn't quite sure. But SpawnHub TV makes sense. Glad to know you're not a bot. Where are you from? And yeah, what's your background? What do you do? Are you getting into tech, or have you been doing it for years? Even if you've been doing it for years, look at me, I'm doing it for years and I'm making mistakes like right, left and center. But I've got all of you to correct me, so it's fine, it's good. Okay, this is looking healthier now. We can actually probably turn off this dumping out the console. I might put it in that as a debug environment variable or something maybe. What we have here, okay. I can view my projects if logged in. I was expecting total with 2, but got total to 2. Okay, that kind of sounds a bit weird. Have I got a type issue in my test? Let me see. Expecting 2 to deeply equal 2. Okay, I haven't had that before. Why is the 2 coming out quoted? That's embarrassing. Only robots would say that. That's so mean. But the robot, if they were a robot, they'd be really good responding to my accent and me mumbling all my words and all the rest and getting too excited and talking fast. So I'm 100% sure they're not a robot. Even Alexa struggles with me. She says, hey, clown, can you repeat that? Okay, she doesn't say clown, but she should. You've spoken too fast or not clearly enough. Try speaking slower. I do get a bit excited when it comes to tech especially. I'm from the UK, been a software dev for a year. Cool. So hello from the UK as well. We've got the nice, we should get some nice weather next week actually. It's supposed to get in double figures, maybe get 11 degrees, 12 degrees. Shorts time. time for shorts, time for shorts, and developing for a year. Cool. How you enjoying it? I hope you're going to lots of events and hackathons and stuff. I can't wait to go to my next hackathon. I love hackathons, all of them. The reason why I'm so excited about my next one is because I want to stream it. So for the people who can't attend, I want to kind of be on my laptop, just streaming what I'm coding and streaming people around me and all the rest. So just so you can kind of be part of our team on there. So if you've got a team of 4 people and you've got like 4 or 5 or 10 people joining remotely, even if only 4 of those are engaged, they can come up with ideas, log issues. They don't necessarily have to code, but they can give suggestions and find issues like you found in my code right now. So, sun's out, guns out. Yeah, that's true. Does the JSON data also get returned with sub-layer quote? No, it doesn't. That's the annoying thing about DynamoDB. It doesn't. Nil Compute. Thanks for the follow. That's awesome. You'll get notified now when I come online, and especially tomorrow because I'm gonna be on and off quite a lot tomorrow. Well, on a lot more hopefully during the day. It doesn't come out quoted. That's the thing that really gets me. It's not consistent. So it will come out as proper nested JSON, but in the test data, it needs to. I think it's because it's the data that how it gets loaded is via a third-party plugin. So that's why it needs to be done, like quoted and escaped. So yeah, don't look at that because that's just it makes me cringe. I'm actually going to close it. Don't look at it. It makes me cringe. Yeah, it's not so great. But again, when we move to Aurora serverless, I really think I could move to that maybe when I'm in Thailand. But it's weighing up between doing architecture improvements or doing new shiny features. Because if I change from DynamoDB on AWS to Aurora serverless, anyone using the site, if I bring up the site, here we go. I have lost it. I've minimized it. This is my wife, by the way, if anyone's just joined. If I bring up the site, if I go back to public, it's broken. That's really good. Okay, I'll go to the test environment because I know that's not broken. He says as he refreshes it and it breaks. No, I'm just joking. He's just asking me to log in. Oh, you probably couldn't see that because it's under my camera. So if I go back to the login page, you can see me logging in. It's logging with GitHub. I'll log in with my wife's account. Don't tell her. It's fine. Oops, she broke the internet. Oh, it's okay. It was just loading. This is DashboardHub. What was the question? I kind of got distracted. Let me see. Let me go back to the chat. Does the JSON get returned? Oh yeah. So if I yes, that's what I was saying. If I move to change an architecture backend piece, execute 24. Thank you for the follow. That's awesome. Actually, if someone's on Twitter, can they do me a massive favor and tweet me just anything, because I have configured some bot thing to come up at the top left when someone tweets me. So if someone doesn't mind doing a test tweet, you can delete it afterwards if you want, I don't mind. But just, you can say, hey, I would say great stream, but you don't have to say that. Don't be too mean. I've got feelings, I'm human, I'm not a robot. Although people do call me EddieBot because I code in open source a lot. But it should appear at the top left. I want to check if that works. And that bot thing didn't have a test button for me to test it. So I hope it should work. Right. Let me see, where were we? Yes. So if I change from DynamoDB to Aurora serverless, which is a MySQL or Postgres solution, it's going to look exactly the same. No one's gonna understand this change, right? This graph will be the same, the menu will be the same, the I don't know, add environment will be the same, or whatever it is. Anyway, it's a bit wider so the navigation comes out. All this will be the same. So yeah, architecture stuff's kind of falling down a bit by the waistline because I got this event on the 13th of June in London. So yeah, that's why this would all be the same. That's why. Okay, what were we doing? Let me read some more chat about hackathons. I recently saw some YouTube video of a hackathon on steroids where instead of people, it was algorithms on supercomputers trying to break things. Okay, interesting. Please share the link in Discord. I'd like to have a look at that. It sounds quite good. My wife calls me a professional hackathon person. Not that I am a professional, but I just go to them as often as I can. You know, family kind of work-life balance, but it's not really work, but I try to go as long as no one gets upset. It's always good fun. It was run by a military contractor in the US, I believe. Okay, interesting. I'll watch it and I'll turn off make sure my firewall's on so they don't kind of hack me. I don't go to hackathons, but I do like going to dev meetups and stuff. Yeah, dev meetups, hackathons, they're all beneficial. So as long as you go to something to network, it's great for networking, finding out other tools people are using. That's why I think Twitch is great, because I think it's bringing people who maybe live out of the city, like myself, who don't have meetups near them. It's quite a mission for me to go to a meetup. It's got to be really worthwhile. So I think Twitch streaming, hence why I started the Discord community, Twitch Coders, links below, you know, selfless plug. So you know, people around the world or who aren't in big cities, we can talk on the live stream, and we can have this chat back and forth. And also out between the streams, we can use a Discord chat to see how everyone's working on, what open source projects you're working on mostly. Okay, well, I have a passion for open source. So everything I do is completely open source. If it's my work anyway. Okay, I can't release my client's work open source, but my work. Okay, still catching up on chat. Do you use Angular material? Yes, I do. So good question. I'm working my way down the chat. So this is Angular material, but I did cheat. I used a template. So I did originally, I don't think I've got a screenshot of it, but I did originally start off with just using Angular material, me designing myself, but as a coder, my design skills aren't up to scratch. So I just bought a template for like, I don't know, 50 or 60 euros, and I'm just using that. I'd like to customize the template a bit more, but to be honest, I don't have time at the moment again. So it's kind of really, I want to do a lot more than this. I want to do, you know, so many things, but yeah, it's got to come later. I want WebSockets on the platform. I want to use, so with AWS's serverless, I want to use their IoT service, which is designed for IoT, but effectively it's WebSockets. So it can update this. So this is waiting for data, for example, and these two are finished. But if something had triggered on CI, I'd have to hit the refresh button to see the change. So I'd love it to be WebSockets just to push back to the UI. Is it Angular X or Angular JS? Angular X, so Angular 5, yeah. Angular JS, I did not like. I know everyone went crazy over it, but yeah, the Angular, anything after Angular 2, so Angular at the moment is Angular 5, although 6 is in RC or beta, and with TypeScript, it's just so good. We'll be doing more of the Angular work for the work we're doing today. So today we're focusing on the API side, but tomorrow we will do the Angular side for it, so the UI side. What we will need is down here where you've got the private sections, you've got my environment and you've got add environment. We will have add project and we will have my projects. So again, you get a list of your project, you can click it and see what environments are in that project. So that's going to be quite interesting, I think. Because the API is going to be quite simple, it's going to be like a CRUD, but the UI, I want to do some funky things. So rather than going into an environment, into a project, and then go, oh, actually I need to add another environment to this project, I have to come to add the environment, go back to the projects, edit the project, add an environment to that project. I would like it to have, just add new environment kind of in there, maybe with a dialogue or something like that. So we'll see how we get on. Unless the Twitter thing has a massive delay, it ain't working. Oh, Elle, thank you so much for the tweet. Is it not working? It didn't come up at the top left. It's definitely here. Let me just check. I have alert. This is it. Why is it not there? Follow goal. No, that's not it. Let me just check. Actually, while I'm, let me show my big screens while I just kind of. No, you can look at DashboardHub. That's fine. Where did I put it? I did put it somewhere, but I might need to put it onto this scene so it gets a share. I didn't put it onto this scene. Cheered. What does that mean? I don't know what cheered means. But thank you. Who was that? I missed who it was. Was it Grace Al? I think it was. I don't know what it means. Let me just put this. Let me see if I can copy the Twitter one. So go to. No, it is here. It is on the stream. So you should have seen it. Don't know why it didn't work. Tell you what, we'll maybe delete that tweet, and I doubt it'll be a massive delay. Delete that tweet, and we will try again tomorrow. I'll have a play tonight, and we'll try again tomorrow. Where are we going? So, what have we got? All the chat's moved quite a bit. Let me see. Unless the Twitter thing has a delay, it ain't working. Yeah, it ain't working. I'm a techie, right? I've busted it, clearly. Or I didn't read the instructions, I just clicked on all the options and just hope stuff would work. Posted link in general chat, so let's have a look. Oh, the YouTube. So, L, thank you very much for the YouTube one. It is in the general chat, so I'll have a look at that afterwards. And hopefully others will do too. What else have we got? I'm going to ESRI UK conference in London later on this year. Would be cool. Don't know that one. Let's have a look. ESRI. Let's bring it up. Have a look. ESRI conference. Oh, it came up. I should have clicked it. Let's see what else we've got. That's a good. I do like this. The way it's kind of angling, it's quite good. Promo for GIS event is fast approaching. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to leave that tab open as well, in addition to BTTV, and I will have a read of that later on as well. I think to add to my reading list. It was run by DARPA, the same guys that have all the crazy robot videos on YouTube. Okay. Oh yes, I thought I recognised the name. Yes, the robot guys. How much time do you spend on CSS? So Swan Dev, I spend as little time as possible because I find you can kind of go down a rabbit hole. It doesn't add a massive amount of value. I think it is important to have your branding good, but to be honest, I'll hire someone to do that because that's not where my skill lies. I'll take too long on it. So yeah, I bought the template. I'm using that. And also, the more I customize the template or even material, you break your upgrade path. I didn't want to break my upgrade path. Okay, what else have we got? Let me switch to my big screens while I'm reading through this chat. Let me see screens. My big screen's turned off, but you can still appreciate the big screen. Let's have a look. How do WebSockets work with serverless? That's a really good question, Grace Al. I thought serverless meant it only executed when it needed. Wouldn't WebSockets require running server? Very good question. So the way it works for AWS, so initially, yes, that is how it worked, and that is actually still how it works. So serverless, it runs the functions and it dies. You can't even use the disk. You would lose it. So the way you would use it is you would send an event to IoT, the IoT service on AWS, and that has a long running process. So your UI in Angular would subscribe to that, and then the IoT would send the message to the browser. So it would effectively be serverless, going to IoT, coming back to the browser. So I guess browser, serverless for the API, IoT, and back to the browser. But you might go to multiple people. Anyone who's looking at that homepage would get the update. So the serverless would send the message once to the IoT service on AWS, and then it would send it to everybody who's watching. That'd be actually a really good test to see with all of us on. You know, some of us can open the browser, I can do an update or do a build or something, and all our browsers should update without doing a refresh. So that will probably, I'm going to try and do that again in the next few weeks when I'm in Thailand. We will see. Where have I got to? Angular 6 is in RC2 currently. Okay, so it's getting close. Hopefully not too many massive breaking changes. Next week, Spitfire, next week, that's quite soon. I don't want to spend my 2 weeks in Thailand just upgrading Angular. I have to wait till after my event in June because I need DashboardHub to have more features, I think. I thought the RC4, should we check? Oh, Vendor has put a comment below. Let me get to that. I'm getting to that. I'm a code newbie. CSS is so confusing. Yeah, CSS is painful, especially for all the different browsers. I mean, at least now in the modern day, you don't have to worry about IE6. That was a killer. I mean, even IE7 and 8, all of those are pretty rubbish. But IE6 was terribly bad. They didn't obey the standards. But yeah, it's good to understand the basics of CSS, but If that's not where your skill lies, you could still be a full stack dev if you wanted to be, but focus more on different areas. The good thing about Angular, although it's a front-end framework, it is very much like a kind of back-end coding in terms of your TypeScript. You've got your types in terms of you're subscribing to events and publishing and stuff like that. So it's quite cool. And it's got a two-way binding, which is really nice. So you can just update your model in the component, and it'll update the UI accordingly. That's very, very nice. Oh, let me check. Maybe I'm telling BS. Okay, cool. And then I see Graysal's got the 5-bit things. I'm gonna come back to that. I think he wrote down what that is below, so let's come to that. And what else have we got? So now I hear you say API. I should get back to trying to figure out how API requests and stuff works. Yeah, API. Well, I missed out. RC4 was today. Okay, so Angular 6 is on RC4 today. So next week is looking more and more promising for the release. APIs. Yeah, APIs are really useful. I mean, it's so important. It is important to at least know the kind of the basics of it. You know, how you have your main methods, like Cheeto SSB. Thanks for the follow. That's awesome. You'll get notified now when I come online, and I will be online quite a bit tomorrow. Yeah, with APIs, it's really good to know. The get method is for getting data, and that's going to be either getting a list. Or getting a single resource if you pass the ID at the end of the URL. And then you've got post for creating data, put for updating the entire object, patch for partly updating the object. Say if you've got, so here in front of us, I'm pointing at my screen and not showing it, so that's kind of stupid. But if you were to update the first name rather than last name, but you didn't want to do the last name, you would use a patch. So just update the first name, whereas a put would expect the entire object. And if you didn't have the last name field, it would expect you to be wiping it as blank. What else? Delete. And the status codes are quite important. So 200 for a success, 201 for created with no content, if I remember correctly. We had a bit of a debate about this on a previous stream. 204 is still success, but no content, no body, no response in the body, no body in the response. Get that the right way around. Oh my God, I'm getting tired. Probably time to go for some dinner soon. 400 is in the user's done something wrong, so the parameters they've passed in is incorrect. 500 means it's kind of all that range, the server's done something wrong. So yeah, have a look at APIs, it's really good, really, really useful. Blink and you can miss releases on the project. Yeah, Angular does move really, really fast. It means someone swiped right on Tinder. It means is that to the bits thing? Cheering means you give someone a bit. 1 bit is 1 US penny. Once you reach a certain amount, I think it's $100, you can cash out for real money. Okay, awesome. You're the first person to send me some bits. I got the name right. So Graysal, thank you very much for the bits. I really appreciate it. Hey, and you're at the top of the chat, I've just noticed. So top cheer by Graysal, 5 bits. Thank you. That's pretty cool. Whoa, nice view. Oh yes, I can even turn the monitor on if you want. Where's my Apple TV? Oh, I have so many like remotes and different things for all my lights and all the rest. You got light coming from outside, and then you kind of, on the other camera, you got kind of the blue, oh, bash my microphone, you got kind of the blue light behind me. I'm getting catch up on these messages. So end of April, start of March, you can pay with bits and extensions here on Twitter. End of April, start of March, you can pay with bits in the extensions here on Twitter. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe that'd be fun. So pay for extensions or pay using extensions. Pay for stuff in extensions. Okay, sounds good. That sounds great for people as a side project. Make extensions for Twitch. Ah, I see. Yeah, that kind of makes sense now. And you can install multiple extensions end of May. Oh, I missed out on a message. Extensions will remain free, but you could lock features in extensions behind a paywall, I'm guessing. You can install multiple extensions end of May. Yeah, and I found like 300 different ways of doing get and put. So 300 different ways. How do you mean? Get, I see kind of 2 things, with and without a resource ID. A put, you will need a resource ID because you're updating a specific object, specific resource, I should say. It's all very confusing starting out. Yeah, it is, but it's just practice. Just keep doing it every day. a little bit every day will really go a long way. If you do 30 minutes every day, you learn one little thing, or you code one little thing in a month, you'll have so much. And imagine in 3 months, 6 months, a year. So Dashboard Hub's only been going for since Venzra. When did we deploy both our projects? We probably deployed like in end of January, I think, beginning of Feb. We went to FOSDEM conference in Brussels. And if I show you my GitHub account, you'll see all the green boxes, and you kind of get to achieve a lot. I have changed technology a bit, which has kind of slowed me down, I suppose. But you can see all these different boxes, and the contribution to open source not only helps on my project, but also lets people get in contact with me and say, hey, we need somebody to help us releasing our open source project. Can you come and consult for us for this, or can you join our team? They can kind of see how you work. And it becomes more transparent. I really believe in transparency. That's why I've done Dashboard Hub as fully open source. So Dashboard Hub is completely open source, apart from my keys. But that's a given, right? What else have we got? How much do you consider browser rendering path? These days I've absorbed in. I have absorbed in this part. It's interesting to me. Consider browser rendering path. I'm not sure what you mean, Swandev. So if you can elaborate a bit, that'd be cool. Venzra, modern day. This is pretty nice overview. Good, thanks for the share, Venzra. That's good. We should all probably have a look at that. I probably need to brush up a lot on my API stuff, because you use whatever it is, 40% of it, and you know that kind of well, and the other kind of 60% you don't use that often. Like options, Angular does it automatically to call options on the API for that endpoint to see if you've got get, put, delete, and all the rest. So it's good to be aware of those, especially for interviews. People always ask, but it's what's the word? You kind of forget it if you don't use it all the time. How it's written, I guess. Ajax, jQuery, the basic stuff. Node.js, HTTP GET, I believe. Okay. Yeah, Ajax. I don't think we call it so much Ajax anymore, do we? I think that was back in the day, even before jQuery. I can't remember now. My memory is terrible. I have trouble remembering last week. Venzra is really good at remembering, so I'll let him answer that one if he hasn't already. Yeah, jQuery is very different to Angular. It's for doing like kind of small bits, whereas Angular is more about kind of creating I guess an app, web app, a platform. I found jQuery confusing. I actually find Angular less confusing, because they've got recommendation and standards on how to do something. So if you want to make a GET request, then they say this is how you do it. Whereas with jQuery, everyone's kind of got their own way. I mean, don't get me wrong, Angular you can customize, but a lot of people don't. I know I don't. I try and just use what they recommend, like the vanilla. Yeah, last week in Jan. Considering you and Venzra have some experience with Angular, did you try out Angular Universal to some extent and have an opinion about Angular Universal? I don't know what that is. I'll Google that in a second unless someone's written a reply below. And now I got a request lib that was recommended to me. Should I make all the stuff easier, apparently? Yeah, if there's a request lib to make requests, it's easier. In Angular, you kind of get all that as part of the framework. Depending on how, it might be worth having a look at Angular. It's TypeScript, so again, it's something new in addition to that. But it might be worth having a look, spending like 1 or 2 days on it, and see if you're able to move forward with it. And if you are, then stick with it. You'll learn as you go along. But if it is too much in the deep end, then maybe don't. But we're here to help. Join the Discord below, and we'll help out. And there's so many of us now. I think in the Discord we've got, I don't know, 20 or 30 people. So there'll be someone there who can answer questions and help out and stuff. There should be, all in different time zones. So if you work during the day, someone will help. If you work during your night, there'll probably be someone else awake. So it's fine. It's okay. What have we got? Let me see. API is one of the main things I love creating. Yeah, APIs are great. I do love creating them. And it's really good how an API endpoint can be used in different web pages, and then you can just style it up, do something different with it, manipulate that data. So APIs are great. I think everything is most people, I think everyone's going that way to move to using APIs so they can lock down part of it, share part of it, have different systems talk to each other and so on. So that's really, really good. It's definitely important to learn, or at least understand it and appreciate it. Universal is interesting. This is from Venza in the reply. Universal is interesting. It depends perhaps on what's important to you. Most search engine can render JavaScript. Oh yeah, Universal is for rendering on the server side. I remember having a quick look at that. But if its performance is crucial on the network speed for delivery system, you may as well want to consider it. However, we'll add load to your own servers, and typically I prefer the client to do some of that. After all, you have a swarm of people processing things. Yeah, that's true. I do like the client-side rendering on the client side. Yeah, let people use their browsers and use their computers. Even like phones and iPads are so powerful nowadays, they can render it fine. Spitfire, I find the setup a bit of work, and just for providing fast initial load, it seems a bit too much. You could do a lot with lazy loading and preloading strategies. Okay, so Angular Universal was a bit to set up. Okay, that's interesting. So it wasn't like easy and worked out of the box. So it was actually harder than a normal Angular. Okay, that's interesting to know. I will probably avoid it for now. But I'd be interested to get your feedback as you use it, and as you can. Blah blah blah. I'm too tired. I think I need to go. Call it a day. I'm mumbling. But as you can compare it, I'd be really interested to know. Yeah. No one clipped that part of the video and put it in my clips bit, I think, of me mumbling. Where have we got to? I'll catch up on the chat now. Let me see. To limit the initial load, yes, I use lazy loading a lot. Yeah, Venza uses lazy loading a lot. I don't so much. I've got everything in one module at the moment, just keeping it simple. I've only got a few pages. I want to refactor all the UI eventually, probably. Yeah, after the conference in June, or maybe after the Web Summit conference that we're also going to in November. So we'll see. There's another benefit of lazy loading too. You can use root guards to prevent people downloading the code. Okay, that's interesting to know. Yeah, that's true, because as client side, everyone downloads everything. But if you use lazy loading and you can prevent that download, then that's actually really important. That gives a little bit more security. Yeah, that's true. It's obfuscation, but still, adds to the mix. I mean, I treat my client-side code as completely public. Okay, it's open source as well as the server-side code is open source, but I treat the client-side code as completely open source. I plan on it for the first time, allowing third-party integrating with Hackathon, so company schools can put Hackathon into my project, and they can hit the API with a key and show it on the website. Never done anything like that before. Should be exciting. Yeah, sounds good. Dev Journey, keep it up. Let's see. Let's bring your project up. Let's give you a shout out. So it's on GitHub, and I think it was hackathon.io. Let's see. 23 hours ago, did a commit. Okay, awesome. Are you on a branch? You're in the master. Okay, I did log that issue for you yesterday. I had a quick start to the README. If anyone watching wants to contribute, do that, but it's probably better for Dev Journey to do that so he knows what he was doing. Let's have a look at your commits. I'm not showing my screen. What am I talking about? Why did no one tell me? Go back to this. So this is the project, hackathon.io, and fixes 1, nice. So you sorted that out. Oh yes, you removed this folder, nice, and we can generate that on CI when we add CI to that. So yeah, looking good. So what else have we got in the chat? We have so SwanDev. As far as I know, browser rendering path means the process of making a view on the screen, like past HTML, calculate style, reflow, painting. I was told that keeping this process well makes a smooth view. It relates with frames. Okay, interesting to know. SwanDev, thanks for sharing. I haven't looked too much into that, but it sounds good. Dev Journey, I'm on about completely different things here. Okay. The light is really badly placed. You should consider repositioning in such a way that doesn't point directly to your face and eyes. Parset07, thank you for that feedback. So I've been playing with my setup and playing with my kind of the light at the front and the blue light behind me. So are you so right at the front is not a good idea? My understanding, very little, was that having it right in front of me was good, or behind the camera and then right in front of me. And why do you say it's not good? Do I look really like kind of washed out? I've got a remote here. I can actually make the light brighter or less brighter, or more yellow or more white, if that helps. But it's always good to learn. I do want to improve. So if I turn the brightness down, I was at 40%. If I turn it down to 20%, does that make it better? So that's at 20% now. It's half as bright. Yeah. Nice to meet you. I'm going to go sleep. See you soon. Swan Dev, thank you for joining all the way from Far East, and we'll hopefully see you soon. Yeah, I'm on tomorrow as well, a lot of the day, and we'll be getting some coding done with hopefully without too many distractions on this project. So yeah, have a good sleep, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Well, yeah. It's okay, it's not okay for your eyes, and besides that, it doesn't make you look a lot better on the screen. Okay. 40 to 20% made no difference on the side of watching. I guess that maybe the camera is compensating. Okay, so Parset, so what are you suggesting? Moving the light, or reducing it? So moving it to the side? Maybe a bit of a side view rather than the front. I want everyone to see my goatee and my cap, my Ubuntu cap. I'm really proud of that. Okay, I get it. You can place it a bit further and a bit higher. Higher I can do, further back I can try. I kind of got a wall behind it. If I switch back to my other screen, so if I transition so you can see it, I've got a built-in desk. And in fact, I've even got a blue light behind the screen that I'm very proud of. Lots of blue light. Yes, I've got a built-in desk, and I don't know if that light can go back any further, but I will try. I'll push it back a bit. Higher I could probably do, although it's probably going to start tucking behind the big screen above. I should just probably get rid of the big screen above. Should I chuck it in the bin? Anyone want it? I'm joking. It's great for watching movies. When you pair programming with someone, having their screen on the screen above, and then having sharing one of my screens, and then having two kind of private screens for all my keys and chat on Slack or Discord. I don't want people to see that. Let me see. Yeah, turn it off for a moment. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so I've turned off the light. Got a lovely cool remote here. I don't think that looks as good though, right? I look really dark. Turn it off for a moment. Let's see what it looks like. The traditional light position is from a higher position. Okay, I have lights on the ceiling that I was using before I bought the light in front of me. But the problem was, because of the cap, I just look really kind of grey. So yeah, I thought a light that wasn't as high from the whack the mic. That was embarrassing. No one clipped that either. But I'm gonna put my cap on backwards. Therefore, I can put the light higher, and you won't get a shadow on my face. But I look like I'm a kid from the 80s, or an old man from the 80s. I wouldn't say a kid, but Parset07, you posted a link. Yeah, Nightbot doesn't allow that, but if you join the Discord below, you can post all links in there. It's and the Discord channel is Twitch Coders. I'm trying to kind of make a correct community. I got stickers arriving on Wednesday. Let me bring up the stickers while we're here, so I can just show off the stickers. And people can look at the stickers while we're talking, or I'm reading the chat and catching up on that. I've got a few messages to catch up on. So if I bring up the Discord and I transition it over, there you go. So Twitch Coders, I'll make that a bit bigger. Okay, let me see the chat. Google dot, nice idea, put a space before the dot, nice. This is a standard professional lighting position. Okay, awesome. I will have a play. I'm gonna kind of call it a day soon, because I'm sure everyone wants to see me struggle with my lighting. Let me open a new tab here and put this in, and then put that there. Okay, that didn't, was that a Google search? Did it say something? Oh, it was a Google search. Okay, I will have a read and improve it and see. To get the lighting position, lighting on the fly. I'll have a watch and see how it goes. Okay, I will do that. Thank you very much for your feedback. I really appreciate it. And if don't forget for everyone to follow if you want to get notified when I'm going to be rambling and in coding. We are going to do some more coding. If anyone has joined recently, I was doing some coding. You can see some automated tests there, and you can kind of see my terminal there with some failing tests. So we were doing TDD, and we were writing the test first, watching them fail. We originally had 4 failing. Now we've got 3. We have made a bit of an improvement, but we got a bit distracted. And I will be continuing a lot tomorrow. So 10 o'clock tomorrow UK time in the morning, I will probably be starting, and we'll see how much we can get done. I really hope to get this feature done tomorrow. So I'm going to be powering on through. So yeah, drop me a follow to keep up to date. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And before I go, I'm going to read a couple more messages in the chat. Make sure I don't forget anyone. Do join on the Discord if you want to chat between streams. We've got a great community in there. Numbers are climbing. I think we're in the 20s now, with all people from all around the world. And look at the images tab. Good night. All right, awesome. I will look at the images tab. That's probably a good idea too. Awesome. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm looking at the wrong camera. The camera's up here. Have a great evening or morning, depending on which time zone you're in. And thank you so much for joining me in my coding session tonight. Open source coding session. It's all about open source. I'll see you tomorrow. I've got ending screen actually. Let me bring up this ending screen. Wait a second. There we go.